Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Oldham County Fiscal Court. I'm Judge Executive David Vogel. We're happy to have you here today on the 19th day of July, 2016. If you happen to bring a cell phone with you today, I ask you to turn it to off or vibrate. And now, if you're able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're happy to see everyone here today, and particularly pleased to see every one of the fiscal court members with us today. So I'd like to ask our clerk, Sheila Fair, to please call the roll.
Magistrate Likens.
Here.
Magistrate Tice.
Here.
Magistrate Leslie.
Here.
Magistrate Greenwell.
Here.
Magistrate Sparks. Here. Magistrate Eldridge.
Here.
Magistrate Dye.
Here.
Magistrate Logsdon.
Here.
Judge Vogel.
Here. Having all members of the fiscal court present, this meeting is now in session. Is there a motion to accept the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Are there any points of discussion or changes? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Now I'd ask our clerk to please read the minutes from our previous meeting, which was June 30th of 2016.
June 30th, 2016. The Oldham County Fiscal Court convened at a special meeting at 3 p.m. with Judge Executive David Vogel, County Attorney John Carter, and the following magistrates in attendance: Brent Likens, Wayne Tice, Steve Greenwell, J.D. Sparks, Kevin Eldridge, Bob Dye, and Michael Logsdon. Magistrate Leslie was absent. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Dye to approve the agenda, adding an executive session pursuant to KRS 61.810C pending litigation after the second public comment. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Likens to approve the minutes from June 21st. Motion carried unanimously. Public comment, none. County Administration. Motion made by Magistrate Logsdon and seconded by Magistrate Dye to approve the payables. Motion carried unanimously. Budget transfers. Motion made by Magistrate Tice and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to approve the budget transfers as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Community business. First reading, ordinance to reestablish special stormwater district. Magistrate Eldridge presented for first reading proposed ordinance KOC 16610-248 relating to the reestablishment of a special stormwater management district. The second reading public hearing is scheduled for July 19th. Contracts, agreements, and resolutions. Eagle Scout Service Project fundraiser. Motion made by Magistrate Eldridge and seconded by Magistrate Tice to authorize the Judge Executive to sign the contract agreement relating to an Eagle Scout Service project creating a disc golf course at Wendell Park. Motion carried unanimously. Colonel Oldham Statue Commission Agreement. Motion made by Magistrate Sparks and seconded by Magistrate Likens to authorize the Judge Executive to sign the contract agreement with Matt Weir relating to the Colonel William Oldham Statue project. Motion carried 6-2. Committee reports and recommendations. Grants Committee recommendations. Motion made by Magistrate Likens and seconded by Magistrate Tice to approve the $7,500 contribution to Creasy Mahan Nature Preserve to help fund construction of a new nature-themed play area. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Likens and seconded by Magistrate Eldridge to approve the $7,500 contribution to Hope Clinic. Motion carried 6-2. Magistrate Greenwell recused himself from the following motion concerning Crossroads Pregnancy Resource Center. Motion made by Magistrate Likens and seconded by Magistrate Eldridge to approve the $5,000 contribution to Crossroads Pregnancy Resource Center. Motion carried 6-1. Personnel actions and board appointments. For the maintenance, motion made by Magistrate Logsdon and seconded by Magistrate Likens to hire Russell Kieswetter as Recycling Center Manager at $15.76 an hour effective July 11, 2016. Motion carried unanimously. Second public comment, none. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Likens to go into closed session pursuant to KRS 61.810C pending litigation. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to come out of closed session. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Eldridge and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to authorize the county attorney to settle the pending litigation case for $80,000 as discussed in executive session. Motion carried unanimously. Other business and announcements. Magistrate Lincoln stated fiscal court members attended the CAECO conference this week at the Galt House. Magistrate Tice announced the annual 4th of July fireworks celebration will be at Wendell Park, family fun activities beginning at 2 and fireworks at 10. Magistrate Logsdon announced work resumed at Bridge Hill and expects completion soon. Fiscal court members wish the community a safe and happy 4th of July. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Logsdon to adjourn the meeting. Motion carried unanimously, and the meeting was adjourned at 4:11 p.m.
You've heard the reading of our minutes from the last meeting in June 30th. Is there a motion to accept? Any discussion? Magistrate Greenwell?
Thank you, Judge. Two things. When Magistrate Logsdon mentioned that he expects the work to be completed soon, maybe he should just say completed.
I was trying to be optimistic.
I understand. Second thing is, for the people that voted no, should we not mention their names or voted differently than the majority?
I think so.
Okay.
Magistrate Sparks?
Yeah, Judge. On the second page, at the top, it says motion made by Magistrate Eldridge and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell about the settlement of the case. The wording in it doesn't quite indicate whether the settlement was in our favor or against us. I didn't want it to sound like we're paying out $80,000 on that, because in reality, that was a settlement that was in our favor. We were receiving $80,000. Wouldn't you agree? Might be some kind of a wording that would clarify that, just for future reference.
Yes, I think so. That's a reasonable point of view. Although we think it was settled in our favor, it was still settled for less than the county was owed. But
Okay.
that's the best we could get out of a bad situation.
Yeah, I just didn't want the citizens who might read the minutes say, oh, why did they have to pay out $80,000, when in fact, that's not what we did. But,
No, we didn't pay it out, we received it.
yeah, exactly. It just doesn't quite say it in here that we received $80,000. Just says we settled pending litigation.
Right, why don't we say, authorize to settle a pending litigation and the county, and for the county to receive $80,000.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah, I just wrote down the motion, so.
Right, we'll change that.
We'll change the motion.
Good point, thank you. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to recommend? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So
Abstain.
abstain, one abstention. Happy to have Magistrate Leslie back today, and was not able to be with us in June, but we're happy to start July off, late in July with you.
All I can say is Maryland, Virginia, Delaware, been fun to work at.
I know, you were called to another part of the country for extensive, work. We're going to go on here to public comment now and ask if there is anyone here who would like to address the fiscal court, and I know there are a couple of people, so we're happy to have as our first addressee our county clerk, Julie Barr.
Good afternoon, Judge, magistrates.
The other way.
While Sheila's getting that ready, I want to talk about something briefly that will impact the citizens of Oldham County. You all know that tolling will start across the bridges. All we know at this point is that it will be sometime the end of the year. The reason that I'm here is we're hearing about the tolling project, getting your account set up and your transponders, but they're kind of glossing over one little aspect of the tolling project that could impact our citizens. Some of the surrounding county clerks met with Transportation Riverlink, and I'm going to switch this, Sheila. Unpaid tolls will result in penalties. If you do not have a transponder and you do not have an account, a picture of your license plate will be taken. You will be sent a bill that is strictly your bill. No fees, no nothing, you pay the bill. If you don't, a second notice will be sent with an additional $5 fine, and you will have 30 days to pay that. The third notice, which is a violation notice, will include the original toll, the $5, and then an additional $25. You have 30 days to pay that. If you don't pay that, it goes to collections, and then after 30 days of the third notice, you will pay all of the above plus a $30 additional fee, and then that's where my office comes in. Your registration will be put on hold. And so on that vehicle only. So what we are being told is that if you come in and your vehicle is on hold because you have not paid your tolls, plus all the fines and the penalties, that we will be prompted on our Avis screen to let you know that it's been put on hold because of tolling fees. You will be given either a phone number, or you can use your phone and pay it online. We are told and actually being promised that it will only be a 5-minute wait. I'm not that optimistic, but this is what the story is. So you need to be aware that it's not just something that will, just throw in the garbage, because it will stop your registration. They call it holding. The clerks think that that is a very nice euphemism for,
Ransom.
well, your registration will be canceled until that's paid. But it will only affect that one vehicle. And the other side of that is that, you need to know that the clerks, this was just put on the registrations. They didn't ask us if we thought it was a great idea, if we liked it to impact the registration, but it is what it is. They are going to impact the registration. Your registration will be put on hold until that fee is paid. The original solution was they were going to have to go away and either go to one of the offices or go to Frankfurt to pay it, and we absolutely pushed back against that, because if you're at the office, let's go on and be able to take care of business so you can renew your registration. So they have done that. So just need to be aware that it will impact your registration if tolls are unpaid.
All right, that's something I was totally unaware of, and sure there's going to be, we're all going to have to learn this River Link system, and whether you like it or not, they're going to make you buy a transponder or pay an outrageous fee. So.
Well, and they are starting the campaign now. And we had asked if they would be very blunt about what would happen. Because if you gloss over, what the outcome is, people may not really, understand and absorb that. So far, what we have seen, it hasn't even been mentioned. So with it being on, being talked about on television, they were here for Oldham County Day. They were at the John Black Center. But this part of the puzzle is not being discussed. It needs to be, so people are aware that this will happen.
Magistrate Sparks.
Yeah, Julie, thank you very much for telling us about that. I had 2 questions. One, did they mention anything about an appeal process? What if I disagree with the fact that I owe that?
They didn't, but I will tell you that their website, the www.riverlink.com, is pretty good, and it has some questions that that I think are very helpful. I'm not sure that there is an appeals process. If you cross the bridge, your license plate was captured, and that's that.
Well, they also might get it wrong and send it to the wrong person.
That is not going to happen. You know that.
Actually, a funny thing, those I love UK fake license plates that people put on there? Some guy had the actual original one, and he keeps getting bills from it.
Yeah.
It was a story. But another question I have for you was, what if I cross the bridge and then I sell my vehicle a week later and transfer it and everything, and then 60 days down the road they send the bill? Does the original owner still have to pay for it, or does it stay with that registration for the vehicle?
We didn't get into that, but I would assume that it would stay with the original vehicle. And, this is not, I'm not here as a tolling expert and all the penalty.
Okay.
And I'm just being fair.
Okay.
I just don't know what that will look like and what will happen. But I know that if it goes 120 days, your registration will stop, and you won't be able to do anything with that vehicle until that toll's paid. And, you can do it either with your smartphone or pick up the phone and call.
Thanks.
Magistrate Dye.
I know you're not the expert, but I do have one question. So when they come into your office and there's this hold on their registration,
Yes.
you all are not getting any part of this money that you're
No.
talking about, but it's going to hold up your work in your office. So does these people are they going to be told to step aside and let other people come through, or,
Yes.
okay?
But
And
I'm going to tell you what I will reinforce with my office, and we've already talked about it. It's no different than if you wait in line in my office and you have to go to the sheriff's office to get an out-of-state inspection. I stand out there and I put you right back to the front of the line, and that is going to be my policy to the best of my ability, because sometimes I'm, kind of occupied too. But I will do my best not to make people wait twice. So.
all right, and the second thing is, did anybody have any discussion about theft of plates?
Not with us. And when we met with Transportation and Riverlink, we discussed that, it's not always cut and dry. And we know
Yep.
that because when people's vehicles are towed and taken to the impound lot in Louisville, that we sometimes really have an issue helping people get their stuff straightened out because, wrong information was given, and we have to kind of go to extremes to help people prove that that wasn't them. So, I think it's going to be something that'll just be dealt with on a case-by-case basis, and as Magistrate Sparks said, I don't know what the appeal process would be, if there will be one, but
It appears to me it's going to be kind of like what they ran into over in Jefferson County with the vehicle exhaust testing.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Magistrate Sparks.
One more minor thing. It sounds to me like an unfunded mandate, and it's another agency forcing your agency to do work without being paid. You all should get part of that fee.
That happens routinely.
Yeah.
It happens routinely, so it's just,
It's wrong, but
I
what can we
don't
do?
disagree. Okay,
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
thank you.
Judge, members of the court, I'm Robert Augustine. I know all of you, but I haven't seen some of you in a while. I represent Senator Rand Paul, and you should have gotten an email from me last week, but I wanted to come in person and invite all of you to Senator Paul's upcoming town hall on July 28th. It's at 3:15 at City Place. The Chamber of Commerce has agreed to host that for us. It will be an official town hall, a DC update. It will not have campaign-related events. And I would like to not only invite the court, the judge, the people in attendance, but also the people at home to come out and have a Q&A with the senator on July 28th. Thank
It's
you.
at the Oldham County Library.
It's at the City Place, sir.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
City Place, right.
We're not sure exactly which pavilion yet, but I believe it's going to be Pavilion 1. Yes, sir. 3:15.
All right, thank you,
Thanks,
Robert.
sir.
Appreciate it.
Before he gets away,
Okay, hang on a second.
Robert, I'd called your office, I think, last week about maybe putting up some signs for people to know about this, because, not everyone watches this program or reads the newspaper, but I would love to put this on our community sign, on our billboard, events like this. I don't know
Well,
if
we
it's
can
possible.
talk with the senator's office about it,
Okay.
and,
Yeah,
I believe you talked to me, sir, and it's
Okay.
good to see you again. Yeah, like we said, this is an official event, it's not a campaign event, so it would rest, all of it rests in the jurisdiction of this court, but it's something that we wouldn't oppose. If you wanted to spread the word of mouth in any way, shape, or form, we'd be happy to assist you with that. Yes, sir.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Judge, members of the court. I apologize, I'm not more prepared today. I was unaware that today was fiscal court, but I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Isaac Myers. I'm a field representative for Governor Bevin, and I look forward to working with you, and if you need anything, please feel free to give me a call. I have cards with me, so if you have my cell phone number and email address, just hit me up. So, thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Myers?
Where's your office at? I'm sorry.
I do not have a brick and mortar office currently, but I'm from Elizabethtown, and that's where I kind of work from.
Look forward to seeing you around here.
Magistrate Dye.
Just curious, are you gonna wear your beard like the governor is till they quit suing, for people quit suing him?
I had my beard for a lot longer than he did, so he hasn't asked me to shave it.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
Sir.
Is there anyone else here who today would like to address the fiscal court in public comment? Seeing no one, I'll close public comment and go on to the first item on our agenda, and that has to do with the sheriff property tax settlement for 2015. Laura, would you like to say anything about that? Or the sheriff? All right. Laura Parson and Sheriff Sparrow's coming down the aisle here, too.
Good afternoon. We are here to present the settlement. I think each one of you all have got a copy. Excuse me, losing my voice. I think you all have got a copy of it if you'd like to review it, or if you already have, if you have any questions.
Laura, would you like to just summarize
Sure. What
the
this
settlement
is-
here? So-
Yes, it's the breakdown of all 17 districts on what we paid out, what we brought in and paid out to them for property taxes. And this year compared to last year, we actually brought in $1,274,000 more than we did last year. Like I said, overall, we collected $65,837,000, and we paid out $65,837,000. We were $2.18 we underpaid. That's has to do with a lot of the rounding of the numbers in the computer system. And then franchise, we usually, I usually do myself, so it has to come with the rounding of numbers. But like I said, it's just we break it down into every single district so that you can see what was paid out. And then, of course, you'll see at the very bottom of the summary, the tax commission, that's where we bring in a lot of money after we pay out taxes. This, the Board of Education, with the money that they receive in property tax funding, is that they paid us for taxes for their commission $636,000. So does anybody have any questions?
Right. There are 17
Districts.
17 taxing districts that
Yes.
receive money
Yes.
based on the amount of property tax collected by the sheriff's office. So we want to be clear about it. We have several pages here of numbers, and numbers
Yes.
translate
Oh, I know.
are hard to follow sometimes in a
Yes,
meeting.
they are.
And without anything on the screen. But of course, the largest recipient is always the Board of
Board of
Education.
Education,
Right.
yes.
How much went to the board, do you know?
It was like 42 million.
22 million?
Yes,
Right. 42,394,000.
yes.
So, and then the balance of the 65 million was split up among the other taxing
Yes, it
districts,
was.
right? Some of whom are here today.
Yes, they
to,
are. I
tell us
understand that. I'm going to sit on that.
Money.
The firing district.
Right. Magistrate Sparks.
Yes, so we've got a new process that we've been doing in the recent years. So with you guys, with working with our treasurer, correct, to collect funds. I'm wondering how everything's going.
Things are working out very smoothly.
Very smoothly. Great.
Yes, sir. Thank you for asking that.
I don't think things have really changed different with the property taxes. It's pretty much the same. We've always collected the money, and then we just turn it over to each district at the end of each month, 10th of the month. So nothing's really changed on the property tax end.
Okay.
Okay?
But
Thank
things are
you.
still working smoothly.
Yes, they are.
Thanks.
All right. And does anyone else have any questions? Is there a motion to accept the settlement?
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. All right, thank you.
Thank
Sheriff, I know you're out of voice today, so I won't press you, but I know you've got your sheriff's golf tournament coming up pretty soon, and
Friday.
every year you raise a lot of money to help kids at the Sheriff's Ranch in western Kentucky, and
That's
do a
correct.
great job with that. When is that going to be again?
It'll be this Friday at 8 a.m. Tee off, 8 a.m. And we encourage anyone who would like to, and I'll personally give you an invitation to come out for lunch.
For lunch.
And we have an awesome lunch. It's going to be sponsored by Dairy Queen of LaGrange, Elizabeth Coxell.
All right. Are
Judge,
you
you've been
all
out there
filled up
before?
on your,
Excuse me?
are you all filled up on your foursomes, or do you have?
We are. I think
We're
we're up
over.
to 2016.
27,
16.
most
Yes,
we've
sir.
ever had, yes.
So it's a wonderful event. We urge you to come out and join us for lunch. If you want to golf, we'll find a place for you. And it's just a wonderful day of helping the kids of Oldham County.
Right.
So,
Well, you do a tremendous job every year on that, and
Thank you.
raised a lot of money over the years for the ranch. And where in western Kentucky is that?
it's in Gilbertsville, Kentucky, not
Gilbertsville.
Kentucky Lake. Yeah,
Seen a lot, I've been there, but I've seen a lot of pictures from it, and I know
Right.
a lot of kids who couldn't go to camp have a chance to go and have a great
Exactly.
week. So,
exactly.
thank you for what you do.
Thank you very kindly, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda here has to do with carving up some of this property tax, and we're pleased to welcome Steve Fonte, the chief of the Ballardsville Fire Department. Welcome,
Judge
Chief.
of the court. I'm here to present the tax rate and the budget for the 2016-2017 fiscal year. The Ballardsville Fire District Board of Trustees established a 2016 tax rate for real and personal property at 10 cents for each $100 valuation, and tax rate on motor vehicles and watercraft at 10 cents for each $100 valuation, which is the same as it's been for several years. Our budget this year is $976,938. We brought in, I don't know if you want to kind of go through the summary.
Sure, please.
Total revenues or estimated revenues are $626,850. Carryover was $880,000. That's from our station. We got a loan. We just built a new station in Centerfield, which we're still working to complete, unfortunately. So that total available revenue is $1,506,850. And then our appropriations this year, including, I put $300,000 in the budget to finish the station, the living quarters, and then the payment with the personnel and operations part is $976,938 for this year.
All right, and how many personnel do you have that are, you have full-time and you have volunteers?
I'm the only full-time member we have, so we do part-time paid Monday through Saturday from 8 to 5, and actually Saturday is volunteers. They get a reimbursement. And then nights and Sundays, we're all 100% volunteer still.
Okay.
And we've got roughly including the 15 paid personnel, we're about right at 50 members. We've had quite a few people join Station 2 area since that station's open. So we've got a very good turnout of that station also.
All right, that's your new station at Montfort Lane and Highway 22? or-
Yes, sir.
I know you're going to have an open house one day.
We're trying to get it finished. And I also wanted to mention too, I don't know if it's been noted, we did install a weather siren at that station also for the community. So that was put up with the help of Kevin Nuss, EMA, and it's functional now. So if, I know Magistrate Sparks, it's his area, if he gives any comments or complaints, I hate to say complaints, but it's loud.
Well, sure. No, but we have multiple ways here now of alerting people to weather emergencies, and we appreciate you installing that because there isn't any one way that reaches everyone, but we want everyone reached. So thank you very much for that. Is there anyone here who would like to ask any questions? Or Magistrate Greenwell?
Thank you. In regards to the weather siren, is that only activated when there's a tornado warning?
Yes, sir. Severe weather. I guess, Kevin?
Kevin's outside.
Yeah, as far as I know, it is a tornado warning. It's an
Okay.
outdoor weather siren. That's done through
EMS?
OCD, yes, sir.
OCD, or dispatch?
Okay, what all is the weather siren set off for? Is it just tornadoes? Just tornadoes. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I thought. And I think it's supposed to have a mile and a half range out. It's an outdoor weather siren.
Is it like a steady 3-minute blast or
It goes out for 7 minutes.
7? Okay.
And it's completely run off batteries, so it's self-sufficient. We just have to run power for a charger.
Magistrate Sparks?
Yeah, so right now, is the station being manned?
Yeah, as far as full-time, the volunteers, yes, we've been running out of the station since roughly August. And then the paid staff goes down there on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and they're there most of the day.
How many fires do you guys have a year?
Actual structure fires in
Yeah.
our district, very few, 2 or 3 a year.
Interesting.
But we run mutual aid with South Oldham, LaGrange. We cover district in Shelby County, in Simpsonville. So, there's mutual aid. We do make quite a few more than that.
You guys make runs when the ambulances go?
First responder, yes, sir. It has to meet certain criteria, which is all set up through dispatch also.
Magistrate Dye.
Looking through the numbers here, I don't have last year's to look at, but I'm going to make this assumption, and correct me if I'm wrong. Apparently, y'all got a little more revenue from taxes.
Not a whole lot. A lot of the carryover, when we initially received the loan for the building, it was to complete the entire building. So that's where a lot of the carryover. I think we're up around $12,000 to $15,000 this year.
Okay, and how's your carryover going into next year? Not trying to catch a flat footed
Yeah,
there.
I don't really know, to be honest with you.
Okay, but it'll probably be less, correct?
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah,
Okay.
but by the time we budgeted $300,000, and then by the time we pay the building fee, the building loan, which is,
Yeah.
I think it's a 10-year loan, we don't have a whole lot of carryover every year. So once the building is all finished and all that money, is spent on the building, our carryover will be a whole lot less.
Okay, well, I looked at the numbers, I said, well, it
Jim-
looks kind of that way, but I just wanted to be sure, 'cause I didn't have last year to compare it to.
And I
All right.
can, generally, when we bring, our budget is generally without the building expense, which is $140,000 roughly. Generally our budget's in the low 515s, and we don't have a whole lot of carryover.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Chief, we appreciate you and the men and ladies in your department, and thank you very much for being here. Okay. Next item on the agenda is another tax presentation, this time from the North Oldham Fire Protection District. We welcome Chairman Randy Shearer and Chief Tim Conway.
Okay, thank you. I'm Randy Shearer, the chairman of the North Oldham Fire District, and I guess hopefully you have a copy of that, so you don't need to read it there. Just before I go into the budget, we think we've done some pretty good things over there. I'm very proud of the work that the chief and all the personnel over there and the trustees have done. Three areas that we concentrated on this year is we're continuing to refine our staffing plan. We were staffed with 3 people, 24/7, full-time professional firefighters. We have bumped that up to 4. Then we also have volunteers. We've kind of changed around some of our terminology and restructured that a little bit. We call them on-demand, or our tactical response team. This was a program that was set up by the volunteers. That when we have an incident where we need more personnel, then we'll put out a call for those personnel, and then we have volunteers and professional firefighters and anyone in the district that has been trained will join us. So it gives us the capability of bringing up to our total membership is about 49 to be precise, folks that can respond if they're in the area. We've gone to full time compared to some of the other fire departments. We had a great deal of trouble responding with our volunteers. So this is changes we've made over the years. The issue is that we're a bedroom community in North Oldham, a fair amount of it. People are at work, and also in the volunteers, the majority of our runs are non-critical, and the volunteers somewhat got tired of going out for a false alarm. So that's why we've kind of changed our staffing, and we continue to refine and enhance it. But it's worked out extremely well for us. I think our service levels are the highest that they have ever been. A couple other priorities we had this year, and will continue on in future years, is outreach to the community. We are now offering monthly CPR classes free for residents of the district. We hope to expand that into other safety-related classes, and also the firehouse is open for other community events. Goshen, some homeowner districts use the firehouse for their meetings. So, you know, we've also added some signage out in front of the stations just to let people know what's going on. And one of the other things that we have done this year, one of the criticisms we received as a special taxing district is we have these elections for property trustees. Nobody knows about them. If you had 3 votes, you could carry the election, was typically how it ran. So this year, because of that criticism, we tried to really publicize the election, which we did. We ended up having 5 candidates run for 1 spot, and we had, I believe it was 60 some odd votes for the first time. So that was a record turnout for that election. But you know, we firmly believe that in order to get a good cross-representation of the district, it's important that people know about that election to start off with, and that they participate. So, we're pretty pleased with that, and we think that's part of the community outreach, and just letting people know what's going on is a big part of that effort. The other thing that we've done for the last couple of years is, as we looked around, we found we had a lot of surplus property. Part of this is we were very well equipped. Our issue was not equipment; it was getting bodies in the equipment that we had. And so over the last couple of years, we've made an effort to sell some of this surplus equipment that we're not using. And when we sell this equipment, our typical thing is we're getting appraisals first. We just want to make sure we're getting fair market value. But we are offering it to our mutual aid districts, folks that we correspond with and work with. Our standard policy is we offer them a 15% discount. Obviously, we'd love to see that equipment go to another district that works closely with us. And so in the past, we have sold some equipment to Westport. We had some air packs we determined were surplus last year, about $30,000 worth of air packs. We looked at a couple of our mutual aid districts that they actually did not want it, but we ended up selling that. That contributes to our bottom line. And the biggest thing we have is this year we're in the process of selling our old station that's next to North Oldham High School. We're in the process of selling that, and it was surplus. It was costing us roughly $10,000 a year in insurance and maintenance just to maintain it. All we did was use it for storage. Has been that way for several years. So we're in the process of doing that. We do have an offer on that building, and expect to close that transaction next several months. There are some planning and zoning issues that the new buyer is going through, so we'll see how that goes. So bottom line, and because of those efforts, for the second year in a row, we have reduced our tax rate. Our tax rate for next year will be at 9 cents per hundred. So last year, we dropped it by 5%, for going from 10 cents to 9.5, and then once again this year, we dropped it by another roughly 5% down to the 9 cent figure. So we're pretty proud of that. Initiatives for next year are pretty much the same things I talked about just a few minutes ago. I mean, we're always trying to improve our staffing levels, trying to figure out how we can do more with less. We're also trying to increase the community involvement, and then once again liquidating any surplus equipment. With that said, here's a snapshot of our budget. We're roughly a $1.5 million budget. You see the column that doesn't have a label on is our 16, 17 budget. Sorry, we didn't put a label on there, but you can see the historical numbers in there as well. So a little bit more emphasis on personnel, a little bit less emphasis on infrastructure and equipment. But we're feeling, we're feeling pretty good about where we're going. One of the other accomplishments last year, we paid off all of our debt except for the bonds on our fire station, the fire station in Goshen. That's got about, we're down to about we will be down to about 2.3 million of bonds. These are bonds that go out to 2033 with a 1 to 3% interest rate over time. But over the last 4 years, we've been accelerating payments on our debt service, going over probably about $200,000 each year of accelerated payments. So as you can see, if you look at our debt service, 2 years ago we were almost at $500,000 of debt service. That includes principal and interest and accelerated payments on those obligations. So we're now down to right now at the end of the fiscal year we had a little less than $800,000 in cash on hand. We feel that anything above about $550,000 is what we call surplus cash. We'll need, before our checks come in from property tax in November, it will take us about $550,000 to go from July 1st to the end of the year. So that's leaving us with roughly 250 some odd of surplus funds. We'll probably, hopefully before November, we'll also probably get another, let's call it net of $200,000 from the sale of the Goshen Station if all goes according to plan. Our philosophy is, quite honestly, is we don't want to have a lot of cash hanging around. We find that when we have lots of surplus cash, we tend to spend it, or that's at least the philosophy that's there. So whenever possible, we will pay down debt and reduce our debt obligations. So now that we're just down to strictly bonds, it becomes a little more challenging as opposed to bank loans and things like that to pay down that debt. But we'll probably continue to try and do that and keep our levels of cash there. So you won't see us, most likely, with a $1 million surplus of cash waiting for that next piece of equipment. Our philosophy is we'll bring down our debt loads. We feel we are extremely bankable entity. Quite honestly, most of the local banks are more than happy to give us debt at extremely reasonable rates. And so therefore, we don't see any major significant capital purchases in the next 5 years. We do a 7-year capital plan with each budget cycle. Our biggest expenditures will be something you'll be talking about. We figure we've got about $150,000 sometime in the next couple years on our radio system that we need to upgrade. I will say that is a priority for us, just so you guys kind of understand what's going on, is we do a lot of mutual aid with Harrods Creek, our mutual department. When we're on the radio, on scene, I think Chief Conway will tell you, is that instead of using the radios, because we have roughly a 30-second delay with when we talk to Harrods Creek, they're going to yell. That, it gets down to that, is that, so we do have an issue there on the radios that we do need to solve over time here. So that's what I had. Happy to entertain any questions if there are any.
All right, Randy, thank you very much. Excellent presentation, and I know your department's doing a great job. Does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask Chief or Chairman? Magistrate Leslie.
I want to thank you for all the work you've done. You've done a great job.
Thank you.
And I commend you for it.
Appreciate appreciate it. It's turned into our part-time job. I have to admit there. It takes a fair amount of time. But, you know, the guys in front of me did a great job of laying the foundation, and we've got great chief and great staff. And so we're pretty pleased with how the whole team is kind of coming together there. So it's not one person, but we definitely appreciate your comments there.
Magistrate Likens.
Thank you, Judge. I want to echo what Magistrate Leslie said. I want to thank you for all the time. I know my best friend Tom Emanuel is on your board, and when I call him up sometimes to do something, he's got to go to a board meeting. This is a non-paid position that they do, and they meet, was it once a month?
Once a month.
Once a month, and that's for several hours' time, and they put a lot of effort into it. And I'm extremely proud of these guys when they have lowered their tax rate. There's not many governmental agencies who have lowered their tax rate twice, 2 years in a row. So I do expect, though, in 18 years from now that it'll be down to zero. If you
it'll be challenging to go lower, but
But I would like to ask you just one basic question. How do you do it? Because we've got 6 other fire districts, and I don't think that they're out there wasting money or inappropriately spending money, but I think from what I'm getting a lot from Tom Emanuel is that we need more accountants on these boards, because he was telling me that instead of having a surplus of money making zero interest basically in the bank and having a debt, that he was able to say, why do we need a surplus? We have a line of credit. So we need to take our surplus and pay off our debts, and it's balancing the accounting economic issues that I think have really stabilized the North Oldham Fire Department.
well, there's that, and I'll be honest with you. One of the issues that we have with special taxing districts, and I'll take fire departments as one, and is that it can be somewhat of an incestuous group. Is that, as I mentioned before, you've got property owners that when it takes 3 votes to win a seat on the board, that you tend to get, you've got 2 firefighter trustees, and then you get 2 property owners that tend to be very much, let's say, in tune to the firefighting world. And because of a variety of things, I know the North Oldham board and some of the appointments that came up and whatever, is that you had a different mix come in of the trustees that think a little differently. Nothing against firefighters, you know, great people, but it took a little different set of eyes at looking at some of these problems on how you address those issues. And I think the board that we brought, that's there now, you know, we are not unanimous in all of our decisions, but you know, I think we come together. But that is one of the key things that you have there, and how they're run, and that you know, I think some of the work that's been done lately at the state level on special taxing districts, I would applaud that, and you know. There's just different ways to govern these boards, and I know there's different ways that these boards are governed within the county, and that, you know, I think you need to look at some of those governance issues. Quite honestly, is a key issue. Nobody wants to dive into them, and I understand that, because they get pretty sticky, they get pretty ugly, and you've seen some of that ugliness over in North Oldham with some things that have gone on. But you know, it does take some things going on. One other comment you mentioned, and I'll brag on, since I've got the mic, I'll brag on one other thing that we have done. You mentioned that the trustees are not paid. We are allowed, I think, a $25 stipends for every meeting that we attend. But the trustees at North Oldham have taken those funds, and we have actually turned that into a scholarship that, so last year we gave away 2 $1,000 scholarships over to graduating seniors of criteria are we want them to come from the district, and we want them to go into a first responder field. So we were able to give away 2 scholarships to North Oldham grads heading off into first responder fields in lieu of our pay. So we've been putting those funds aside for several years, and we'll continue that practice on for the next couple of years. So,
Thank you very much.
so.
Magistrate Logston.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your information here. How many, I'm from Crestwood, Peavy Valley area, so how many stations do y'all have over there?
We have 2 stations. We have one in, our main station is in Goshen, and we have one in Skylight.
And then how many trucks?
What do we have, Tim?
We have 4 fire trucks and 2 tankers.
All right, thank you.
And then what do we got, like 3 or 5, or captain's car and?
Yeah, we have 3 service vehicles, actually 4 service vehicles.
Will you repeat it because
okay,
people on TV won't hear you?
4 service vehicles, 4
4 fire trucks.
fire trucks, and 2, no, was it 6? I don't know. Come on up here, Tim.
All right. So we have 4 fire trucks, 2 pumpers, 1 quad, and a quint, which is a ladder truck. We have 4 service vehicles, which is 2 staff cars, 1 service truck, and 1 staff car that's at the Skylight Station. Plus we have 2 tankers that hold 2,000 gallons each.
Any kind of river vehicles?
I'm sorry.
I didn't mean.
Are you finished, Magistrate Logston? All right, Magistrate Sparks.
You have any kind of river vehicles, aren't y'all?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, actually, we have a boat, and we have a John boat, a 14-foot John boat that's just operable with an outboard motor, and then we have more or less a big river rescue boat that has a drop-down ramp on it, and it's a big 29-foot, 200. Actually, it'd be 450 horsepower, 2 twin-engine Hondas on it for river-type rescues, which we cover pretty much from 18 Mile Creek to the county line.
And do you have a lot of rescues out there?
Not a whole lot going on in the boat world, but it's there if we need it, and we've been training people on it. And I think our busiest year, we might have had like 11 boat runs where 2 were actual. You know, a lot of times it ends up being I guess a dinosaur chase. You know, by the time we get notified, the event's over. You know.
I just have one more question for Mr. Schur. I really appreciate what you guys are doing, like the other magistrates said, and the thinking of things more of a business and everything. I totally agree with that. And I know in the past they've discussed these kinds of issues, the question of what if we consolidated, not necessarily the stations themselves, but maybe some of the back-end services, you know, your payroll, your HR, all that. I really wonder if like all that was outsourced or maybe combined into one organization, if we would find some consolidation that might bring some more value to the money that we expend. What do you think?
I mean, I'll take my view on that, and
We'll take the bullet.
I think I am a believer in consolidation from what I've seen. Now, I think with that said, I believe that the departments do a good job of working mutual aid and trying to plan and coordinate. But with that said, I think that if we had a more global view, you know, part of the reason we're able to cut taxes, let's be real, is we're probably at one of the higher economic levels in the county. I mean, we're, you know, Longwood's coming in and putting in, you know, large homes. That helps our tax base, and you know, there's some other things that help as well. But you know, we all tend to think about it from our districts. My concern is the district, not necessarily the house right outside of our district. That if I was planning from a county-wide perspective, I may staff my stations a little bit different than we staff them today. And you know, that takes a lot of political capital to pull that off. But I think there are opportunities. You know, the reality is there would be opportunities there, but you're stepping on a bunch of toes to make it happen. You know.
Yeah, it's a big hornet's nest. We don't necessarily want to kick up, but.
Right, are there any other questions or comments? I'd like to thank you all both for being here. You've done an excellent job with the presentation, and things are going well. And I think we talked to our road department about anything there that possibly we were looking for a place, and we're looking for a place in North Oldham that would be convenient to store road salt in the winter, so our trucks didn't have to come back to Buckner. They could turn around faster, and I think I'd mentioned to Randy.
Yeah, and I would just say that, you know, just speaking for the board, is we're definitely open to things that can help improve the county and county services. Obviously, we represent a certain taxing district and represent certain taxpayers, but we're all open for, hey, if you want to put salt there, if we can figure out a way to make that happen, that helps the residents on our end of the county.
We just happen to think there might be some space over there somewhere. Maybe there isn't. I don't know if it would fit or not. I do know if it does, the taxpayers getting served are the same ones that you're serving.
And related to that too, we also, you know, EMS, Oldham County EMS uses our station. We're very excited that they are. We've been making a few changes. They'll start using the Skylight station as well. We're more than happy to do that, you know, to benefit all the residents of the county and quite honestly, get the better emergency response in our district. So that's what we're all about. So, all right.
Great. Thank you guys very much. I
All right, thank
appreciate
you.
the good
Appreciate
job you're doing. That's our last tax presentation today. It did kind of come up, and I think Randy did address it there. There, just economic disparities among the fire districts in the county. Some have more opportunity for revenue than others do, just because of growing up as commercial districts or having certain housing patterns within them. I think all of our fire districts are doing an excellent job with the assets they have, and we certainly compliment North Oldham for attempting to be as responsible as it can possibly be with the assets they have. Our other agencies, I think, are trying to do the same as well, and we encourage them to look for any way they can save money and build up their own reserves or pay down debt. So thank you all for being here today. We appreciate it very much. The next item here has to do with the bid opening for asphalt rejuvenation, a certain product and application on Park Shore Road. Beth Stuber, would you like to come up and tell the fiscal court exactly what this product is intended to do, and then we'll look at the bid that we have.
There is a renewed interest with several companies in doing things that would preserve a road and strengthen a road rather than overlay with 1.5 inches of asphalt. Prolonging its life, maybe not as much as 1.5 inches of asphalt would, but it's definitely expanding its lifespan and cut back on paving costs. And so there's a product that we tried a year or so ago on Centerfield Drive, and it seems to be working well, and it's more of an overlay system that floats on the surface. This is a product that is actually supposed to penetrate a little bit deeper and replace some of the oils that they feel will increase the lifespan by at least 10 or at least 5, hopefully closer to 10 years. And we've picked to do it on Park Shore, which is out in the Spree neighborhood. That street has already been crack sealed. As we go in and literally fill in all the cracks. And so it's already been prepped well. And we did some paving last year in L'Spree. Those are wide roads, long stretches. It's very expensive. So we're hoping if we can put this product down, test it out, if we like it, not only will it give us some years of life on Park Shore, it's possibly something we can do in some of our other subdivisions where we're starting to see some wear and tear and would like to get on top of it before it gets too far along. And also, hopefully, these type of products may help us with our dig out repair kind of cost to our roads that make paving so much more expensive.
All right, and we did receive a bid on this. We have a single bid that came in.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to open an envelope because the bid came in via email, and it's the only one we have, so.
Feel sole sourced.
It's a sole source situation. Total bid for this is $34,332. That's from Unique Paving Materials. Manager Greenwell, has the road committee made an assessment or a recommendation on this, or would you like to study it?
No, Judge, we have discussed this and decided we wanted to try this product and to see if it would extend our paving budget and our dollars, and so we're prepared to go ahead and award this bid today.
Would you like to make that recommendation?
I'll make a motion that we accept the bid from Unique for $34,000, well, it's here somewhere, $34,332.
All right, moved and seconded, we accept the rejuvenation paving bid from Unique Paving for $34,332. Magistrate Sparks.
Can you elaborate on how much that $34,000 is going to do for us? Is that just a practice area, or is that, a month's worth of it or a mile's worth of it?
I don't know the exact distance.
Roughly a mile. In comparison, that would be $200,000 worth of asphalt overlay.
The way I see this working, Magistrate Sparks, is let's say the life expectancy of a road is 15 years. At the 7-year mark or the 8-year mark, we assess the road. They get graded once every 2 years anyway. So we look at the road's grading, and rather than get to 15 years and be totally destroyed, well, then we might apply this product and get 10 more years from that point, and in the, save some money, in other words, by this process.
Okay. I mean, I'm just curious. This current one it's just a test.
Correct.
Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
It's going to be a pretty long length of road, but right now we're testing this, and so we have another product already on the ground. There's a couple others on the market. They all claim to be slightly different. They all have different additives, processes, etc. that they use to. But they're all mainly a stopgap product between overlays to give you longer life.
Badger Dye.
You said there's other products on the market, but we only received one bid. Is it a geographic thing, or?
No, so they're all different they're all formulated different, and they all do approach the problem in slightly different ways. So we have one that is more of a seal type product that is on Centerfield Road or Centerfield Drive. This is a different product. There is a third product I know that is out there that has approached us too, and they all have different chemical makeups and so forth. And so it's idea to see if one is stronger than the other.
I know the state, when they do paint strips. You'll see them going down the road, and you'll see like 10 strips of paint. They're testing which paint they want to buy for a long term.
Right.
So in other words, you're going to compare this to the one you've already got down, and then maybe do a third one someplace else, a different supplier?
Right, and I think we'll still get a good product for several years. I think it will expand the life of Park Shore. I'm not putting it down strictly to test it. I really do think it will perform. I think these other products will perform. It's just a matter of seeing which one we feel like we got the best out of for our situation.
Well, if there's similar products on the market, I'd like to see a more of a real true bidding arena here versus going with what we say is a quote sole source. Because
Well, if you'd like, I can give you brochures of information that talk about the certain additives that are in each of these products that make them different. And
so they're truly not, they're different, but they're similar in what they do, but not similar in their ingredients.
correct.
Okay, that's what I need to know. Thanks.
One more short question, Judge.
Magistrate Sparks.
Do we have to buy any special equipment to do this?
No, we'll actually have an applicator come down and apply it, but it's nothing very fancy. We could maybe even do it ourselves. I don't think we will, because I don't want our equipment to have the sealant on it and clean it and et cetera. That would just let someone, the application process is inexpensive enough that justifies having someone else do it and not get our equipment involved.
So
If it's
there'll
something
be
we
a-
decide to do long-term, then yes, we could easily invest in the equipment and the laydown.
So there'll be just an additional charge for us to install
The
this?
application is worked into that number.
Oh, it is? Okay, great.
All right. Motion is on the floor. We've had a second to approve this product and application. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Next item is this would be with Wes Williams and Melissa Horn here. Wes, you want to come by and tell us what we're buying here today? What's accepting bids on? Dump truck and snowplow, dump truck,
Yes, sir.
snowplow and spreader.
Yeah, Judge, magistrates, these are the bids for our yearly new dump truck, salt bed, and plow. I believe we have 3 bids on it.
All right. And, first bid here is from Kentucky Truck Sales. And this is a combined single price for the entire package, correct? $118,929. It's a 2-year warranty on the chassis, and it's a 2017 Freightliner. It says deliver on chassis in 75 days. Something else in 120 to 150 days. Edging.
They'll take the chassis to Edinger and Sons, and they will put the bed in plow.
What?
They'll take the chassis to Edinger and Son, a business in Louisville.
Oh,
And they'll
okay.
install
Oh.
the rest.
Next one is Peterbilt of Louisville. This is $131,130. Third bid is from Ewell Truck Sales. $122,375. I mean, we're asking them to make this bid. Did we we didn't give a specific model that, I mean,
They
it looks
just, they
like.
bid off the specs we've used in the past.
Right, their own, okay. Okay. All right, I'm gonna give these to you. You go ahead and take a look at them, and,
We probably aren't going to award that today.
no, I
Judge.
don't think we're gonna award it. It
Yeah.
needs to go back to road committee, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Judge, I got a question.
Magistrate Sparks. Let's see.
Yeah, just 2 short questions. One, how come Joe Hamilton, our fleet manager, isn't handling this instead it's our road department manager? Wouldn't our fleet manager be doing it? Reviewing the bids and
Makes you
everything?
think he's not.
I'm just asking. I don't know. If he is, that's okay.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
asking.
We're going-
Usually he comes up and does the presentation. I didn't know. I was just curious.
Yeah, well, next question.
Okay, sure. Did we do any check on the reverse auction opportunities for these things?
No, we put this out for bid.
Okay,
Okay.
fair enough. I'm just trying to see if we could ever find a good deal on that. I don't know why the state has those reverse auctions if we can never find a solid deal on it.
I didn't know the state operated reverse auctions.
Well,
I know CAECO does, but I don't know the state that Kentucky does, do they?
I just know that they've encouraged us to try it at all the conferences we go to, or not all of them, but some of them. I'm just asking.
Well, it's a possibility. I mean, I don't know. We haven't ever had any great luck with reverse auctions.
Yeah,
We generally have done better ourselves.
okay,
But
yeah.
that's something I let the road department decide if they want to do it.
Judge, we actually looked into reverse auctions on salt one year, and we beat the price that they awarded that day by $18 a ton. Second time that we just observed an auction for, say, a dump truck or a snowplow or something like that, it was awarded to that county that participated in that reverse auction, but the person that won the bid was from out of state. And I would, say to you that in the middle of a snowstorm, where are you going to go get parts at? And you need to get them where you can get them at as fast and as safely as you can. So while somebody from Wyoming might give you a good price on a truck or a plow, they're not going to back up the parts for the warranty as well as somebody in state.
Yeah, fair enough, absolutely.
Magistrate
Leslie.
Leslie?
No.
Well,
We,
Magistrate Likens had his hand up too, but you're first.
I'm first. I'm better looking.
I agree to that.
I think last year we bid dump trucks and we did better than the state price.
We did.
Well, I don't think he's talking about state price. He's talking about a technique. I wasn't aware the state of Kentucky conducted reverse auctions. CAECO conducts reverse auctions, but
Okay.
I don't think
Yeah.
state does. CAECO is the Kentucky Association of Counties, for those who don't know. Okay. Magistrate Likens?
Thank you, Judge. This was just for Magistrate Greenwell. If he could get together what we paid last year for this same truck, I think I'm thinking it was 108 or something, but I'd like to see what we paid for it last year before we meet for our road committee, if you can get that.
Road committee meets the first meeting of the month on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. So that'll be next August,
All right.
the 2nd.
Okay. All right, and thank you, Wes. All right, the next item here is a bid opening for salt bids. All right, this is a, let's see, J. Edinger and Son, $15,186 if you buy one. If you buy two or more, it's $15,089. All right, quantity discount there. We appreciate that.
15,186.
Okay.
15,080.
All right, now we're going to move along on the next item on the agenda is a presentation by Kevin Nuss, Emergency Services Director and our Dispatch Director. And I believe one of the items mentioned earlier will be addressed here today, and that has to do with the radio system that operates between all emergency providers in Oldham County and that connects us or doesn't connect us, as the case may be.
Mostly
to the,
doesn't, yes.
Mostly doesn't to our neighboring emergency service providers.
Okay, well, thank you, Judge. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to the court today about an issue that we have been working on at the dispatch level and along with all other emergency responders in the county now for several years, as you will see in a moment in the presentation. As you know, we dispatch for all police, fire, and EMS first responders in the county, and this presentation will discuss specifically the need to upgrade our current radio system. Today, I'm simply giving you information. I'm not asking for any approval on anything. I'm simply giving you information and hopefully moving forward with putting this in a committee. So there's two major issues with our current infrastructure of our radio system. First is simply the age of it itself. The system, as you see it today, is basically 20 years old, and it hasn't been, we haven't moved any repeater sites, we haven't moved any towers. Everything is today as it was when it was put in 20 years ago. There's been some upgrades to some of the radio infrastructure in the basement of OCD, but those have been at least 10 to 12 years old, 10 to 12 years ago since there's been any major updates. And also, as the judge alluded to, our interoperability with surrounding counties. So the current system, just real quick, is an analog VHF system that's approximately 20 years old. The main repeater transmitter is located on our tower that we own at OCD, that the county owns at Oldham County Dispatch. We have satellite receivers at Kentucky Acres and Goshen. That's the infrastructure that's been in place for about 20 years. Again, the last major upgrade was about 12 to 15 years ago, somewhere in the 2003, 2004 era. The FCC mandated in 2013 that all public safety radio frequencies must operate in narrowband. We did that back in 2012. By late 2012, we met that mandate. But since meeting that mandate and narrowbanding our frequencies, we have seen a significant degradation in coverage in our radio system. Basically, what the narrowbanding was, wideband operates at 25 kilohertz, and I'm not a scientist or an engineer, I'll explain as best I can, but that's wideband, it's 25 kilohertz. Narrowbanding cut that in half to 12.5 kilohertz. So we had to basically tone down our system from 25 kilohertz to 12.5 kilohertz. That, in and of itself, made us lose some coverage. But we had coverage issues before then, but that made it even more prevalent. So basically what we have is a aging system that's analog, that's not digital, and there is the next mandate from the FCC, which the narrowbanding mandate was from the FCC as well, will be to go to a true digital format. So if wideband is 25 kilohertz and narrowband is 12.5, then digital would be another half, which would be 6.25 kilohertz is what we would have to operate in. So that's coming. There's no hard and fast date for that by the FCC yet set, but I would say in the next year or two, certainly within the next 4 or 5 years, the FCC will set a mandate for that all public safety emergency communications will have to be operating in digital format, much like all cell phones do now. So the current system, in August of 2010, I became dispatch director in 2008, but in August of 2010, we commissioned a survey, an outside agency to come in. He's an engineer that at the time worked for T-Mobile Communications, has an extensive background in wireless communications. So they came in and they gave us a presentation at the Chiefs meeting in January in 2011. These are just some of the highlights of what they found. There was no contract for regular maintenance on the county system. Most mobile radios are repaired only, and mobile radios are the radios that are owned by police, fire, and EMS, not our radios. Most radios are only repaired after they have problems, and batteries are checked regularly, but there was no preventive maintenance being done on the radios or our system for our radio system. There's no preventive maintenance. So we have cleaned that up. We do have a maintenance contract now with RCS Communications. They come in and they service our equipment once a year. They come in and do a cleaning of it. They examine it, they check it, and then also during the year, if it's a covered part under that maintenance agreement, they come in and fix it or repair it, basically at no cost to us unless it can't be fixed. So we're doing some of the things now that they said we needed to do back in 2010. They also suggested, to help with some coverage issues that we've been having in the county, that we add a repeater back onto the wave tower to help Westport and LaGrange areas, and also look for a spot over in Indiana to help with the Rose Island Road and also the Westport areas. We have not been able to do either one of these issues yet. We are talking to the folks who own the wave tower now about putting some equipment back on there. However, that's just early discussions right now. There's nothing firmed up for that. They also made some other recommendations as we had recommendations. We had some FCC license issues that need to be cleaned up. Those have been cleaned up. We did upgrade the maintenance plan. We do now have a maintenance plan, a preventive plan in place. And then for the emergency responders, they said that instead of using just a microphone on their shoulder, you'll see some officers with that the microphone should actually have antennas mounted to them so they get better reception. And I think some of the departments have gone to that, some haven't. But even back in 2011, the last sentence that they recommended, upgrade the system to a newer digital network that will be forward compatible. That's the reason I put this slide up there, is we've had a recommendation actually since January of 2011 to upgrade our system to a digital platform. So we have an aging system. I told you about that. Now we're going to talk about interoperability with other counties. Louisville Metro government operates on an 800 megahertz frequency that is P25 compliant. Shelby County, effective August 1st, will be on a VHF P25 compliant system. Kentucky State Police are on a UHF P25 compliant frequency, and all of our partners over in Indiana are on a statewide network that is P25 compliant. Don't get hung up on the 800 or the VHF or the UHF. The important common denominator there is that they are all P25 compatible platforms. P25 is called Project 25. It is a national standard that APCO, the Association of Public Safety Communication Officers, of which I am a member of, but that's a national organization, has said since, basically this came out in 9/11. When the horrific acts happened in New York, everybody came to New York, from California, Florida, everywhere from around the country. All these emergency responders converged on New York City to help. Unfortunately, they couldn't talk to each other because the guy in California had this type of radio with this type of frequency. The guy in New York had this type of radio with this type of frequency. There was no commonality among any of the radios, other than they were police radios, fire radios, or EMS radios. So Project 25 was born out of that, and what in very simple terms, so that I understand it, so I can explain it to you all. Project 25 is simply a platform that has become the national standard, and it's basically any vendor can sell it. It's not proprietary to Kenwood, it's not proprietary to Motorola or any other radio provider you have. It's just a platform that all vendors must use. It's not a law, but it's a standard that if you deal with public safety communications, you really should be on this platform so that you can have interoperability with other agencies. So as you can see, all of our partners, and Shelby County is going, actually, the slide, I made the slide yesterday afternoon, they have actually pushed that back to October 3rd now, I believe, is what Chief Fonte told me last night, because they're having a couple programming issues. So instead of August 1st, actually in October, they will be P25 compliant. So every agency we could potentially do interoperability with is on a P25 compliant system except for us. Louisville Metro, as I said, they're on P25 800 system. It's not interoperable with our analog VHF system. North Oldham Fire Department, South Oldham Fire, Pee Wee Valley Fire, and Oldham County EMS all have mutual aid agreements in and around Jefferson County. MetroSafe currently has to patch. They have to physically get up and move to a new computer, a different computer, to be able to patch our analog frequency to their 800 frequency. The patch takes time to set up, and it does not always stay up once it's up, and generally, when it goes down, it's something that's on our end, not their end. Even when Harrods Creek makes a run into Oldham County to back up North Oldham Fire Department, when they patch that, it goes to the 800 channel. So potentially you have a situation where we're working an incident in Oldham County. The incident is North Oldham's incident. It's in Oldham County, but actually, because Harrods Creek is their main backup, they're talking on MetroSafe radio, and we have no idea what's going on, even though the incident is in Oldham County. To me, that's not right. If it's our incident in our county, Oldham County Dispatch ought to be running it. Now, we're working through another solution to where we can hear that, but it takes major steps to make that work. It doesn't happen automatically. And lastly, on this slide, Oldham County Police and the Sheriff's Office have no direct communication with Louisville Metro Police or any Jefferson County law enforcement agency. They can't talk. And my thing will work. Shelby County, again, is transitioning now October of 2016. Again, they're not interoperable with our system. Ballardsville Fire Department, South Oldham Fire, Pee Wee Valley Fire, and Oldham County EMS all have mutual aid agreements in Shelby County. Ballardsville Fire, and Chief Fonte is still here. They had to purchase 15 handheld radios just so they can go and talk to Shelby County starting now October 1st, but as of yesterday, it was August 1st. That was approximately $8,000 they had to spend, and now they have to carry two different radios. They have to carry a radio for Oldham County, and now they have to carry a radio when they respond into Shelby County, effective when that starts. That, again, is not acceptable to me, that we have to carry different radios to do the same job in different counties. South Oldham Fire Department already has bought P25 radios that are compatible with our system because P25 works backwards. It will work with a P25 solution, and it will also work with an analog solution. So they already have radios So all they had to do was reprogram the Shelby County frequency, and they're good to go. So they're interoperable with Shelby County using one radio. Now, the question could get asked, couldn't Ballardsville do that? Yes, with the P25 radio they're buying, they could put our program in there, but that's only portable radios that Chief Fonte bought. It's not all the mobiles, and it's not near enough radios for them to operate in Oldham County. Pee Wee Valley Fire Department has no plan yet as to how they're going to communicate directly with Shelby County Dispatch, but they have talked to Shelby County EMS, and that's who they do their main mutual aid with. And for the time being, Shelby County EMS is going to keep the VHF frequencies in their ambulances, but that's not a permanent solution. Oldham County EMS has no capability to direct communicate with Louisville Metro EMS. A lot of patients from Oldham County get sent to Louisville hospitals. All the hospitals in Louisville have the 800 frequency already built into their hospitals. So if they had direct communication, if they have a person in cardiac arrest or they have a very, very critical patient, they could pick up the radio, call the hospital, and give them an update. But they can't do that. They have to call EMS, they have to call Oldham County Dispatch on the radio. We answer them on the radio, call University and give them this update. So we have to call University on the phone, give them the update, and then if University has any instructions, we have to back relay those instructions to EMS. Again, with a critical patient, that's time that is not needed, shouldn't be needed to be taken. So what have we been doing so far? Again, we had the study done in 2010, but we've really been talking about a new radio system since we narrow banded in 2012, 2013. To bring you up to speed a couple years, on June 17th, just about a month ago, I met with the OCD board. As you all know, even though we're all county employees, we have an OCD board that talks about policies and procedures, that has oversight and recommends policies. And that board, because of link and NCIC issues, is made up of 51% law enforcement, so all the law enforcement agencies are represented. Chief Eddie Turner represents the fire departments. Todd Early represents EMS. Magistrate Greenwell represents Fiscal Court. John Carter's also a member of the committee by being virtue of his position. So we had a OCD board meeting, and the board unanimously passed a resolution establishing a committee to discuss and make a recommendation regarding the purchase of a new radio system. So fast forward to June 24th, 1 week later, we had a meeting at Oldham County Central Dispatch. Every chairman of fire and EMS boards, the mayors of LaGrange and Pee Wee Valley were at this meeting, along with all the chiefs in the county, and they agreed to take making the recommendation proposal for a new countywide radio system back to all their boards for their July meetings. So every fire and EMS board, every city council and city of LaGrange and Pee Wee Valley, because Crestwood doesn't have a department under them, unanimously supported making a recommendation to the court to move forward with a new countywide state-of-the-art radio system. All the boards, and they all acknowledge they are going to have a significant expense in this too, because they'll all have to buy new radios. This is not going to be an inexpensive endeavor. We'll put up the infrastructure from the dispatch standpoint, and the emergency responders will have to buy the portable or mobile radios that tie into that system, because each radio platform you go to, you're talking a different radio and you're talking a different amount of money. But the important thing that I would like to point out is that every board, every fire board, every EMS board, I've been to almost every one of them in the last month, and City Council has agreed that we need this. They've stood with one voice saying we need a new radio system, and these are the reasons why as we're outlining them. So what's next? We currently have gotten 2 proposals. I've been working for about a year now, talking to different vendors, different opportunities. How much is it going to cost? As you can see, the cost estimates that I have for the 2 systems, the 2 cost estimates I have so far is between $1 million and $1.5 million. So again, this is not an inexpensive endeavor. I realize that. I'm not here today to ask for $1 million from the court. That will come at a future meeting, hopefully. But the cost estimates are, it's going to be expensive to do, but what cost do you put on emergency communications? That's the question I would ask. So right now we have formal presentations by these 2 vendors scheduled for August and September. We're going to move forward, let them ask questions, tried to come up with the best possible system that will allow us interoperability not only in Shelby County, but also with Louisville Metro, also with KSP in Campbellsburg, our partners on the river that we work with when we have boating incidents, things like that. The goal that I have would be to put out a request for proposal and have a vendor selected by early spring of 2017. And the reason for that is we have to give the emergency responders time to budget for these radios. Again, we're talking probably hundreds of thousands of dollars for the radios. They can't absorb that in one fiscal year. You just heard from Ballersville and North Oldham and their expenses and some of the issues that they're having. But they're probably going to take 2 budget years to be able to put in the radios that are needed for this. So the way my little brain works, I try to make it as common sense as possible. This isn't like if you go out and total your car today, you can go to another car lot tomorrow and you can be driving a brand new car tomorrow. This is a radio system that will take several months to go through the process of finding out what the best system is. Once we select the best system, then we got to build the system. That's going to take 8, 9, 10, 11 months to build out the system. So it's not something you can just buy today and install tomorrow. The agencies have to be able to have the forward knowledge of what we're going with so that they can purchase the new radios. So that's why even I'm here today, but we're talking about a system that probably wouldn't go in operation until sometime in 2018. It's going to take that long for us to get the money together and to finance both getting selecting the right vendor and getting the emergency services agencies the budget cycle to get the radios purchased. So what I would ask judges is that you would possibly assign this to the Public Safety Committee for further review and potentially bring something back to the court either late this year or early next year with a proposal. And that's what I have, and if anybody has any questions, I'm glad to try to answer them.
All right. Does anybody have any questions? And Magistrate Dye.
We've already talked about this at length, but I don't recall you saying anything about next generation.
Well, next gen is another issue that we have, but that's not with the radios. Next generation 911 is about 911 folks calling 911, being able to text 911, us being able to capture video for 911. That is a totally separate issue. We have a new 911 system that we got on a grant in partnership with MetroSafe and several other counties that went into operation in went into 2015, early February of 2015. That equipment is next gen compatible. It's not 100% ready to go. There will be some costs moving forward with that. However, today I don't know what exactly those costs are going to be, but we are talking about 2 separate projects. This project is just for us to pick up the radio and tell Ballersville Fire Department to go to this location or EMS or fire. But yes, the next gen information is coming within the next couple years. We are not ready to take texts to 911 today. The cell providers are not ready to give us text today, but probably I'm going to say within probably the next 18 months to 2 years, it will probably start off with texts and then possibly also being able to capture video, cell phone video, and other things that go along with next gen 911. But that's not directly related to the radios, though.
So for the viewing public and for the media, what you're talking about today is not the public contacting you on a 911
Right.
call. It's you're contacting other agencies.
Yes, us being in touch with police, fire, and EMS at all times, when they're on traffic stops, when they're making emergency runs, anytime they're out in the field, for us to be able to contact and have communications with them.
And the service that you can provide today will be the same service you provided yesterday and will be the same service you've been providing until this system gets put into place.
Yes, yes.
So the public shouldn't have any overt fear right now of something breaking down.
Oh, no, absolutely not. We're trying to get out in front of this. Again, it is an aging system. We have found a lot of, we call them dead spots, where an officer cannot get out on a portable radio. The infrastructure is the same. Buildings have been built. Foliage has grown in places, and we rely a lot on line of sight right now for radios. And so there are areas where we know that the officers cannot get out and get back to us. No radio system is going to provide you 100% coverage, but we feel like with some preliminary testing we've done with some P25, we have had officers stand side by side with Tim Keel, my assistant director for dispatch. One will try to get out on VHF, another one will try to get out on P25, and we have found that the P25 has gotten out everywhere that the VHF has not gotten. So we feel very comfortable that the P25 will enhance our communications. But no, I'm not saying the system is broke. It's not. It's just an aging system, and I think we need to have the foresight not only to repair it before it does get so bad that we can't fix it, but also we're staying on an analog system when all of our partners have migrated to P25, and it makes communication with other emergency responders almost impossible.
Right, I just don't want anyone to think that there's an existing problem now. Thank you. Good presentation.
Magistrate Sparks.
Kevin, are there any national initiatives or requirements that we switch this new system up? I know that after 9/11 they wanted a lot of people to upgrade, but I was trying to see if there's any regulations actually that it requires us to. Although I think it's a great idea to upgrade.
The next mandate will be the true digital mandate that the FCC will set out. They have not set that out. They say within the next 10 years that mandate will be there to move to digital. So there is no mandate that we have to do it. It's just that it's the right thing to do. But that's right now the only standard is that if you're going to switch to digital, the national standard from APCO is the P25 platform.
So this P25 is the standard that they're
Yes.
recommending everybody.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
the future.
And P25 is digital, so that will meet the digital standard. We wouldn't have to go to P25 and then go to digital. By going to P25, we would be digital.
Yeah. And we're never going to get all of our money from the feds, but there's probably some federal initiatives out there to help fund these things, wouldn't you say?
There is federal grant money where you can apply for federal grants for a P25 compliant system. You cannot apply for grants for a non-P25 compliant system. And we've had some discussions with a vendor about putting in a non-P25 compliant system, but there's no grant funding available for it. So we're moving forward looking for a P25 compliant system.
Anyone else? All right. Thank you, Kevin, and I'll take that under advisement, and we'll appoint a committee, I think, to work with you on that.
Thanks, sir. I appreciate it.
Magistrate Leslie?
Yes, we can work with a public safety committee with this.
That'd be fine.
Thank
We'll
you.
assign that to public safety then. Thank you. Next item on the agenda has to do with county pay administration. We have our bills to pay, and
Judge?
yes, sir.
If I may interrupt here, could we go ahead and award the salt bids now?
Yes, if you're ready.
We only have the one bid, so we'd like to award that to the J. Edinger and Sons for 2 salt bids.
Okay.
Second.
All right, and how much was that for? They were, okay, they had, the price was slightly different on the second one.
$15,089. $089 per bid if we buy 2.
All right.
And that's my motion.
All right. Is there a second? Second. Moved and seconded, we buy 2 salt beds from J. Edinger and Son for $15,089. Discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. All right. Now let's move on with our, the balance of our accounts payable here. Is there a motion to pay the bills?
So moved, Judge.
Second.
All right, is there any discussion? Questions?
How long has there been?
Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. Surplus property, Melissa Horn.
I'm asking you to surplus a 1999 case backhoe that belongs to the road department. We have a trade-in offer on this piece of equipment for $12,150. And we would use that money to purchase new equipment, which would be a mini excavator.
Judge, I'll make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we surplus road department backhoe as a trade-in item. Questions? Magistrate Sparks?
Is it the only backhoe we have?
No, we have two, and we have one that's newer than this one.
It's the old one. Anyone else? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Now, under community business, we have the second reading of an ordinance to reestablish a special stormwater district in Oldham County. And I believe that we can just summarize this. We read this a month ago, and it's been on our website. This ordinance establishes a special stormwater management district in Oldham County with a board of 3 persons. This stormwater district will be transferred, assets of the existing stormwater district would be transferred from the Oldham County Environmental Authority to this board, and then this board would be responsible for employing what we expect will be fiscal court to operate the stormwater management program for the entire county with the exception of Pee Wee Valley. Pee Wee Valley has its own stormwater program, and but the fiscal court would operate the balance of the program throughout the county. So because this is a public hearing now, people in the community who would like to speak for or against this ordinance have an opportunity to do so now. Is there anybody here who has come who would like to speak in one way or another in regard to this ordinance? Saying no one, I'll close the public hearing and go on to the magisterial discussion and ask Magistrate Eldridge if he would like to make a recommendation here.
The Utilities Committee has reviewed this. This is not the nuts and bolts of how the stormwater program will be run. This is merely an ordinance to bring it back into the county so then the judge and the committee can formulate a plan. There were 2 items in this that were found in error at the first reading. One of those was that the city of LaGrange was not included in one paragraph. The other was on the back page where you'll see now that it uses the words and or. Those have been repaired by Ms. Fair in time for this reading, and the Utilities Committee would make a recommendation that this be approved and become an ordinance.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded that we create a special stormwater district to operate the Oldham County Stormwater Program throughout the county with the exception of operating in Pee Wee Valley. Is there any discussion on this? Magistrate Sparks?
Yeah, Judge. And I appreciate the comments you made, Squire Eldridge. So obviously, we're not going to know every detail about the program moving forward, but specifically, so you're going to appoint a board, correct? And it'll be approved by the fiscal court. That board, will they be automatically required to have the fiscal court manage the operations of the thing, or will it be their evaluation? I mean, if they evaluate it's better to have a third party do it, will they be able to dictate that to us?
I anticipate that the entire reason this being is created for fiscal court to operate the stormwater program in the county. So I don't think we'll be considering anyone else, actually.
All right. Thanks, Judge.
Magistrate Likens?
Thank you, Judge. Magistrate Eldridge, do you have a idea what the budget is going to be for running this program?
We have no idea, frankly. We are still looking. There are a great many things to consider going forward. In fact, the nuclear review, if you will, we're looking currently at a post-construction ordinance. All according to how that ordinance goes, it may be that the lock, stock, and barrel of the funds, for the most part, need to be put away for the future. If we find out that that's not the case, obviously there will be more for everyday operations. I do not anticipate the stormwater fee going up, and certainly Utilities Committee will be working toward that end.
Right. Right now, for the most part, people in the county pay $33 a year into a program which was originally established to maintain quality and clean water in Oldham County, but has been expanded to include the stormwater as part of the definition of managing clean water. And my expectation is that we will have considerably more money available to manage the program in the county than what we have now. Even though our budget won't change and our fee won't change, we will be paying less money for overhead than we are right now, considerably less is what we hope. The program has to be mapped out. We have some idea of where we're going to go, but we are also creating a post-construction stormwater ordinance that will deal with runoff in new subdivisions as they're created. And some of that ordinance will include how basins and reservoirs are treated within new subdivisions. And we're trying to, let's say, determine at this point how much responsibility will fall to the homeowners association, how much will fall to individuals within the homeowners association, how much responsibility will fall to the county government. How that all works out is yet to be determined within the post-construction stormwater ordinance. This ordinance and that ordinance will certainly be synergistic and work together to some extent. And but our chief aim here is to be able to move forward and handle a number of a wider range of problems in our new format than we have previously. I'm not trying to criticize what's been done previously. I'm just, trying to say that we think that we can, in this particular aspect of stormwater management, provide more services in the county than we have been able to previously through the structure of the Oldham County Environmental Authority, which has done a great job on sewers, which are, we're all under pressure to have clean water and good sewer systems, and we all want these things. It's just hard to have to pay for them. We don't like them for free and for somebody else to do it. But our goal here is to maximize our efficiency as much as we can. I mean, I think we've all been in a position where at one time or another, someone has been responsible for something, and we've said, well, I could do that better if I had control of that. Well, we're going to try to do it better. We've fallen to that mindset that we think that we want our chance to be more efficient with stormwater. So, are there any other questions about this? All right, hearing none, Magistrate Eldridge, would you agree with pretty much what I said there? Or,
I think we need to, I think it's time to explore all of our avenues. When I originally came to the court with this long before I was a magistrate, I said that trying to figure out the DOW and EPA was like nailing Jell-O to a tree. That has not changed. As we go forward in the future, this is going to be more and more important. They're currently struggling at a national level with a program called the Waters of the U.S. We've seen some recent legislation backing up against that, trying to force that back. But as Waters of the U.S. comes forward, we're going to have to evaluate the stormwater program going forward too.
okay, thank you. All right, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Next item here is the second reading of a general obligation bond for our detention center project. I'd like to ask Stan Clark, Chief Financial Officer, to review that.
All right, this is, we've been talking about it. This is the funding for the new detention center. which is under construction, and currently we're using some of our reserves to pay the bills as we go. We anticipate needing up to $17 million to complete the project as, turnkey, ready to open. And in summary, what this is, we've already read the thing. It's a general obligation bond for the Oldham County Detention Center not to exceed $17 million. And then in here, it gives us the ability to issue bonds in more than just one calendar year, with the ideal being that some of the bonds will be taxable bonds with slightly higher interest rates. Part of the construction of the jail will qualify as tax-exempt bonds, and we'll fund that separately to get a slightly lower interest rate, to reduce the cost of financing to a minimum. It's anticipated that we will go to the market this fall for about $10 million, the first GEO taxable bond, and then next spring we will then know how much of the remaining $7 million we will need to complete the project. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions regarding that financing?
Got it.
Okay. All right, so this being a public hearing regarding, this is an ordinance of the Fiscal Court of Oldham County providing for the issuance of a county general obligation bonds for the detention center project in one or more series in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $17 million for the purpose of providing funds necessary to pay the cost of construction and equipping of the new detention center, setting forth the terms and conditions upon which the bonds are to be issued, and ordering and providing for the levy of an annual tax to the extent necessary if an amount sufficient to pay the interest on the bond and principal of the bonds, providing for a public sale of bonds and the application of the proceeds thereof. So I think we've got the point out there. Because it's a public hearing, again, I'm going to give anyone who is here today who would like to speak for or in opposition to this ordinance an opportunity to do so. Is there anyone who would like to speak to that? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing and go on now to the, see if we have a recommendation to approve this. Magistrate Tice, Finance Committee.
Yes, I'd like to make the motion that we approve ordinance number 16-220-252.
Second.
Second.
Moved and seconded that the ordinance be approved. Discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Item E on the agenda is, has to do with the road assessment ordinance for the Settlers Point subdivision. We'll ask our county engineer, Beth Stuber, to review this once again.
So Judge said this is the second reading for our Settlers Point subdivision, bringing their roads into the county system. This is authorizing the county to spend the funds to pave the road and the assessment to have the residents repay the county.
How will the residents repay the county?
They will be invoiced once the work is completed, and they have, I think it's 90 days to pay. If they don't, they can stretch it onto a lien on their property taxes and be paid over a 5-year at a low interest rate of 6%.
And how much would each property owner expect to be assessed?
Okay. On this job, and after if the ordinance were to pass, we'd award the bid to the low bidder of Ohio Valley Asphalt, and they were at $287,000. In this case, the HOA is paying roughly $40,000 of that. That will leave each homeowner with $626.82. Right. There are 90 lots.
Okay. All right, this is an ordinance of the Commonwealth of County of Oldham, Commonwealth of Kentucky, KOC 16-340-289, authorizing the expenditure of county funds to improve roads within the Settlers Point subdivision in Goshen, Kentucky, and bringing them up to county standards and to bring them into the county road system pursuant to KRS 179.470 subsection 3, and to impose a special assessment on all lots so improved by such expenditures by the county pursuant to the provisions of additional KRSs to reimburse the county for the expenditures and to improve the roads of this subdivision. So this now also is a public hearing. Is there anyone here who would like to speak for or in opposition to this ordinance? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing and go on now to our magistrates. Magistrate Likens, do you have a recommendation here?
Yes, Judge, I'd like to make a motion that we pass ordinance KOC 16-340-289.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion among the magistrates? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you.
Can we award the bid?
Pardon?
Award the bid.
The bid?
Yes, now that the ordinance is passed, we can award the paving bid
Okay.
to perform the work.
Magistrate
And that,
Greenwell? do you
Judge,
want-
I'll make a motion that we award the bid to Ohio Valley Asphalt for the amount of,
$93,287.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, the Settlers Point Road subdivision asphalt work be awarded to Ohio Valley for $93,287.
$287.
Discussion? Hearing none. Magistrate Sparks?
Just a quick one. Do they expect to do that before this winter?
Yes.
Okay, any other questions?
I did have one. In Settlers Point, we had that culvert that we were going to get replaced. I think it even been discussed and approved, maybe in previous fiscal court meetings. Are we doing anything with that particular culvert there at the bottom, the one below the dam?
At this time, we have run into some significant utility issues with a gas line that is sitting right on top of the culvert. That culvert has the capacity. It's an issue with blockage. We have been out there and cleaned out a significant area of it, and we're looking at different designs for like a trash gate to keep it open.
So we're not going to be tearing up the street,
No,
after
and that
we
is on
pave it,
Settlers
basically,
Point
so.
Trail itself, which is already a county road. This is all the cul-de-sacs that come off.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? All right, no one else. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Ms. Stuber, I think Magistrate Sparks has one question.
Beth, we spoke on the, via email a couple weeks ago about the work down on Ash, or the lack of.
Yeah.
Can you give the residents who might be watching a little bit of an update on where we're at there?
We did, being Belinda, Demas, and I, talked with the state yesterday, and they have got the funding issue resolved and that the funds are available. They are going to take over the right-of-way phase, and it should be down to any day now with the right-of-way phase.
So do you think we can have that work started this season, or will it be
Well-
kicked to the new year? I mean,
I'm
Just- yeah.
sarcastic as, but it's highly unlikely with KYTC that they will have all the right-of-way utilities moved and chance to go to we're looking at construction in 17, and I know what is that we've been saying for how many years now, but yes.
yeah. Yeah, you know that there's a couple residents on there, and it is a priority, and it is a safety issue. So we really appreciate your efforts and Belinda's efforts to square this away for us.
Thanks, and I hope they do see some, if they're contacted, hopefully very soon by the state, and that will give them a sense that it is moving.
Thanks. Thanks, Judge.
The next item on the agenda is F, the resolution adoption of a KIPP regional hazard mitigation plan. Kevin Nussel again.
Good afternoon. I'll be much briefer this time. You have before you a resolution adopting the 2016 KIPTA Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan. This is actually an update to the plan that has been in effect for many years. Every 5 years, we're required to go in and update that plan. This year, Eric Dennison with KIPTA has been working with all the EMA directors in the KIPTA region and also our LEPCs, our local emergency planning committees. He's made several presentations there. He took that information back from both myself as the EMA director and from our LEPC and used that to update the plan. The plan's like 500 or 600 pages, so I saved some trees and didn't copy it. I believe the link was sent out to everybody if anybody needed to review it. But so I'm asking the court to allow the judge to sign that updated plan, and that will make us eligible for hazard mitigation funding, or keep us eligible, I guess.
Judge, I'll make that motion that we adopt Resolution 01071916.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded that we adopt this resolution regarding the KIPTA Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan. And I'm not going to read this entire thing because this is a repeat of earlier approvals, and this is pretty much a perfunctory
Yes, sir.
sort of thing. We want to be involved in this. Is there any discussion about it? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
Next item here is a resolution that been asked to sign. This resolution is involving Apple Patch. Apple Patch would like to apply for a community development block grant to use and rehabilitate some property in Crestwood that can be used as an adult daycare center for adults with mental disabilities, which would be run by Apple Patch. I believe the plan is to have it at the Crestwood Station area on the west side of Crestwood Station, in some office area there that they'd like to rehabilitate. I see Cindy Harbin is here from Apple Patch. Would you like to say anything about this, Cindy, and let the court know what's going on here? Okay.
I'm Cindy Harbin with Apple Patch, and we are asking, as we come forward with this request, we're in the process of moving our day program that currently has been in Fox Hollow for a number of years and moving it to Crestwood Station. This will be an expanded day program of 8,000 square feet. So in coming very quickly with this, we are asking for, we're pursuing a block grant and asking for your support in making this a very viable project for us. We'll be moving very quickly as we are serving in this process about 70 to 100 people Monday through Friday that will be taking up space in the Crestwood Station and giving the opportunity for these individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities to go through a training process as we are preparing each of them to the best of their ability to be able to go out and pursue employment. So this is a very important project for Apple Patch, and we ask for your support. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Did you have a question?
No, I was just going to make the red.
Commissioner Dye, did you have one?
No,
or-
no, sir.
or-
Mr. Longson would like to make that motion for the
Oh,
resolution.
okay,
He
we'll
has
make
a
the
question.
resolution.
My only question was, Judge, certainly support this 100%, but I don't see any resolution number.
There's no number.
We need a resolution number on this? Okay, you want to make one, or?
Could you use the one right after this last one
I was thinking.
from the KIPTA?
Not sure.
HIPTA was 01/07/1916, so we could 01/07/1917?
No. 0108.
Right?
guess it'd be
Sheila,
02.
Sheila's an instant resolution number maker.
In order to spin the resolution number wheel, Judge,
All right, right, yeah.
spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel, all right. This is Resolution 02071916. A resolution authorizing Oldham County Fiscal Court to apply for a community development block grant to rehabilitate an assigned building to be used for adult daycare center for adults with mental disabilities, to be run and used by Apple Patch Incorporated. Whereas Oldham County Fiscal Court is interested in programs for community and economic development, and whereas it's necessary for Oldham County Fiscal Court to obtain funds to promote the potential of the Oldham County Fiscal Court. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court of Oldham County, Judge Vogel hereby be authorized and directed to apply for the Community Development Block Grant Fund to assist with the rehabilitation of the sign buildings for Apple Patch. Is there a motion that be, I think
like to
we
make
have
that
motion and second. All in favor? Please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. All right, congratulations, and we'll take care of that. Next one is item H, and this has to do with a request to approve, sign an agreement with the Oldham County Tigers. That's a youth football organization to use some of our field there that is behind Oldham County High School for football activities. And we have an agreement here. This is the same agreement that we have with the Oldham County Youth Soccer. Youth Soccer also uses some of that field, and there is space in the area behind the Oldham County High School tennis courts and football fields to construct or actually develop an existing area for football. And we have an organization that wants to do that with younger kids, and so Park and Rec has reviewed this, Mr. Carter, and I'd like to know if there's a motion that we accept this opportunity.
I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Magistrate Sparks?
Does this, and I apologize if it's in here, I tried reading through it a couple of times. Is it have anything that states like they have exclusive use of that land during certain periods or anything like that?
No, they will coordinate with our Park and Rec department on the use of the fields. We certainly expect that they will be using it during football season, but not necessarily exclusively. Others that may fit into the time frame of the use of the field will be considered as well. So,
And will our parks people do maintenance like the mowing or something like that, or will they be doing that?
no, I believe that they will be maintaining that, just like soccer maintains the soccer fields. The Tigers will be maintaining and doing the maintenance and trying to improve and build up the facility there.
Thanks, Judge.
Any other questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Now I'm going to ask that we go into executive session here for a short while. Pursuant to KRS 61.810 subsection F, dealing with personnel. The people in this session would be magistrates, myself, Deputy Judge Black, and Mr. Carter, along with Jailer Mike Simpson. A motion that...
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you.